I'm about to show y'all what coping looks like. And coping in this thing here and what we're talking about, it's more of, hey, guy went in that they don't like. Okay, remember that. Remember, I've done all these YouTube videos. They don't like what I talk about. And so a guy that they talked down upon went entered this industry as a creative and as a business owner at that. And then he saw all of this success, $3.4 million, almost 40,000 purchases. And that gets a lot of people mad. So at first, the original goalpost was, okay, it'll never come out. It's never going to happen. Then that became, well, it'll never see the amount of success that he thinks. It'll never be competitive. And then again, we have over 50,000 books that are accounted for that we know are actual customers that purchase the product. Not, hey, we sold to Diamond like Marvel and DC does or anything. What we have right now is I have doubled. This would be considered a graphic novel by the guys that keep up with the numbers like the ICV2s of the world, as well as Comichron. According to Comichron, last year, the top selling graphic novel was 24,000. We've doubled that already, and the year's not even over with. I mean, it's only been 3 days over a month. So 33 days, I believe, or so since we launched. Okay. So they saw the numbers. They don't like the numbers. So what do you do when all else fails, right? You said he wasn't going to do this thing. You said he wasn't going to see the success. Now he's to where he's at right now. Now you got to just decline that it's not even real. Basically, that I'm somehow muddying up the numbers or cooking the books like the federal government did with COVID. Never mind, aside from the point. But cooking the books is what they think that they wanted to believe that I'm doing. Now, I've said before, if you want to get the people's numbers you listen to, go to Comichron, go to ICV2, have them contact me. I can send them whatever reports in terms of verification because I have absolutely nothing to hide. In fact, my campaign, my pre-order campaign is more transparent than any other pre-order campaign that has ever been ran by Marvel and DC or the likes or any of that, because, again, they sell to Diamond. Diamond gets the books and then those retailers get the books, but nobody actually knows the exact number of who's purchasing or actual customer getting that book. So I'm giving you numbers of me getting it to my customers, or rather how many the customers got, or how many the customers, let's say, wanted, and we're not even finished. So they moved to, well, this has to be fake. It can't be real. But I'm going to read you just this absolute hallucination by way of these weirdos who are, it's a coping mechanism. It's like, well, I didn't want this to be true, so it can't be true. I'm going to read you one of the most bizarre tweets that I've ever gotten from people that have tried to somehow insinuate that I'm cooking the books. Listen to this. He hasn't even offered to provide a federal tax ID. Again, for you guys that don't know what that is, if you own a business, that is basically, think of it like this. It's the equivalent in terms of a business, the Social Security number. You wouldn't just give that out to any old person. The federal tax ID is what he wants me to provide him, or he's saying he hasn't even given it, as if Marvel and DC just gives that information freely, or any of these publications, whether it be in comics or out of. He says, knowing that I could make inquiries at my bank about that company's deposit. No, you couldn't. For the first 6 months. I could also take the claims he is making with the tax ID directly to PayPal. It's cool. Keep it coming. Basically saying, well, because he won't basically give you my Social Security number, my federal ID, federal tax ID. I guess he wants my mama's maiden name, security code, and all that shit. And then once I give it to him, I guess he would go to the bank and then nobody did, not even. And first of all, and his original post, let me see if I can find it. Because his original post says, I call bullshit. You have yet to show any proof of sales. You also seem to ignore any challenges to legitimacy of sales, which is not true. You guys have, of course, seen many times the back end on PayPal with the bull crap that we've dealing. I've done 2 videos of me going on the back end of my own stuff and showing you the reports as well as the deposits that I got. This cannot be declined. First of all, I would have no benefit. IRS just hired like 80,000 something employees. I'm pretty sure some of them going to be hitting me to fuck up. I have no benefit for lying about my numbers. And on top of that, and which is the whole entire premise here, and I asked him, If I can find, let me see if I can find that tweet when I specifically asked this weirdo, like, I told him to provide. Let me see where is it at? Because I know I responded to one of these. I don't know where it's at. So many comments that have that is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, is that it? Right. He said anything other than a flood of man children blowing up my mentions would be nice. Or hey, an actual CPA willing to put their CPA on the line to verify these sales with boilerplate earnings, along with publicly verified fileable tax documentation. This guy has no idea what a business is, and I guess he's thinking that which still wouldn't be true. He's operating as if my business is a publicly traded company, and it's not. It's not. And I asked this weirdo, I said, what non-publicly traded private company has ever done this? Were they giving you their tax documents, federal identification? When on earth has that been something that a private company that is not publicly traded would ever do that? Even the ones that are publicly traded, they'll give things and information to their shareholders, but it's not to this degree anyway. Why on earth is it required of me and it's not required of these other big dogs? No one would give this information. No business owner would give this information. It's what coping looks like. Because they don't want to believe it. They can't believe it. Like, how could someone come through with this big following that he had? And those followings, instead of like the guys who retweet all day long and make stan accounts, they're not actually customers. My guys are most of my guys are actual customers. If you look at the rate, let's say customer rate, right? Buying, paying, willing customer. My viewership versus some of these other big dogs, definitely in comic books, it's not even close. They cater to weirdos who are going to pirate their shit if they're going to watch it, or they're not going to watch it at all. Certainly if you can't put it in a movie or something, they're certainly not going to read and support that stuff. They pretend to like this stuff. Whereas to my guys, most of them, not want to say most of them, a significant portion of these people are being converted into actual customers, and they're buying product. I've been talking to y'all about this for years, where I was like, don't worry, you can become very rich. You can have a successful business owner. You don't need millions upon millions of followers, because not all millions of followers on any given platform means that they will reach in their pockets and purchase something from you. That's a different thing. Converting people. This is why, hell, even me, I was like, I got about 10 to 12,000 books that I can account for initially. Obviously, we completely undershot that, because even I was like, I think that's a decent amount. That's a decent conversion rate in terms of customers. I mean, granted, now we have almost 40,000 total purchases. So yeah, we've done very well for ourselves. But seriously, this is just what it looks like. I think and this is why I love that we're seeing the success it is that we see, because it's something tangible and it's something that's provable to these weirdos. These folks thought I was talking out of my behind every single time I would say they can be competed with. They call me delusional. They call me crazy. They say it would never, ever happen. Now it's $3.4 million later. What are you talking about? It very well can be done. It can be done, and it will be done. Oh, I ain't the first, and I certainly ain't gonna be the last. We just getting started, baby. All these folks that called me crazy are eating crow right now. And it's not even like I had to do anything different from what my initial plan was. That's the side effect kind of benefit that we get from this, that you look stupid. But I didn't set out to do it just to simply make you look stupid. You just look stupid because you talked yourself into a corner. Well, you thought that, well, this guy or anybody for that matter cannot come through and be competitive in this market. You were lying, and I knew you were lying. All y'all called me crazy. Even some of my own followers, not necessarily customers, but followers thought I was crazy as hell. And I was telling y'all, like, y'all don't understand. The internet has introduced the element that simply was not available to us decades ago. We are operating on a completely different, like this is an archaic model, and a lot of what these industries, definitely in entertainment, right? It's a lot of just smoke, mirrors, and people going through the motions. And the only thing, just like I did with my band Backwards, the only thing that I've done here is ask the question of why is everybody doing it that way? Why? That's all I did. And I said, okay, when I asked that question, why is it being done this way? I said, well, the answers that I got back, processed that information, and I said, well, doing it their way doesn't make sense. I believe that there's something else that we could do here that is a benefit, and it keeps up with the times. And like I said, $3.4 million later, I've been reassured. Now I ain't one of those guys that thinks that I'm gonna make $3.4 million every campaign. That'd be a good problem to have. I'm not anticipating that. There'll be some that go where that will be more, some that will be less, for sure. But just the fact that I even did it once shows that this is a very doable thing. And what you're seeing right now is the guys that have been so protective of the old guard, and they don't like me, and I think this applies to most of them, they don't like the people that like me. So it's you guys that they hate, right? The guys that they've been calling racist this whole time, the guys they've been calling misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic. They didn't like the fact that you didn't vote for the guy that they wanted you to vote for. Those people, right, are the ones that are coming out and supporting me. They are aggravated at that. And they don't know how to act. So coping is the mechanism, right? And what they're doing is trying to make it comfortable within their own head, because they had this, it was a figment of their imagination, but they had this way upon which they thought we were, but we were never that. And this is proof. And so they don't know what to do. All right, let me just say it's not legit. When all you need to do in order for you to get comfortable with yourself and in your own head, concede that you were incorrect. Concede that you were wrong. Concede that maybe you were the problem here, and take a step back and reflect. But continuing to latch on to this narrative that you have that has been proven, you've watched your arguments be diffused in real time, and you're still latching on to this lie, you're going to get yourself hurt. And I ain't saying me hurting you. I'm saying you hurting yourself, because that's not a good space that you want to be in. You don't want to be there. This guy or the guy that and gal that has this kind of weird world up here in their head, and they think everybody lives in that world, when no, you're in another dimension. You're in another dimension. It was never true. But what was true is the fact that, well, or whether it is true, is that there's a lot of people that are enthusiastic about this project. And this is the first book. I'm just getting started. Trust me, bros. I'm just getting started. But stop. That hating ain't necessary, but more importantly, dude, get in tune with yourself, man, and understand that this is real. And get prepared, because I'm not done, and there's going to be other people that are going to do better, near the success I have, or even if it's slightly below. It's still a lot of money that's being made, and a lot of people that are enthusiastic about these projects. And as more of us get privy to this thing and people implement different ideas and they see success, that old guard that you're so protective, the same old guard that has left its creatives broke, the same old guard that has a terrible work environment for their creatives, because everybody's walking on eggshells. They don't want to say what's really on their mind because it will get them in trouble. So they're going on with this charade, and it's a lie. And that makes for bad content when you can't be comfortable as an artist because y'all threatening to cancel each other. That same industry you're so protective of, it's going to be competed with. I can't say that it's just going to go away, but it's going to be competed with. Man, you're seeing exactly what happens when we, instead of just simply talking about it, some of us say, I'm going to do what I can to make it happen. Get used to it.
Yo, I appreciate you as always. And if you're into comics or want to get into them, go visit Rippaverse.com, where you can check out my own comic book company, Rippaverse Publishing. Our first book, ISOM #1, is currently up for pre-order right now. You can also check out the company trailer and the ISOM campaign trailer so that you can make an informed purchase. We've cleared over $3.3 million in sales, and many of our supporters are viewers just like yourselves. And because of that, I have to thank you all personally. I do appreciate you. I can't wait for you to learn more about ISOM himself and already fan favorite Yaira. We ship internationally, so no matter what side of the globe you're on, we love to have you as a customer. Much love and big thanks.